Well, Ballygunner can complete a clean sweep of underage hurling titles in Sunday's Under-19A decider against Abbeyside at Carrickbeg. Throw-in is at 1:30, and Tony Ryan, GA correspondent with the Dungarvan Observer, is here to preview the action. And Tony, the Gunners have already won under 13, under 15 and under 17. How strong is this under 19 team?
Well, Tomas, in the corresponding championship last year, the under 18, they won the county title in that. So they would have entered this year as favourites, and they have shown it in their recent game against Roanmore there last weekend. I think it won 16 to 8 points. So they seem to be heading for a clean sweep. Bring on to that then, winning the senior for the 6th year in a row, and winning the Eastern Intermediate. Right, to my mind, their club of the year. Yeah,
they've really been the dominant force. When you look through their lineup, Tony, like see the likes of Tom Gallagher, Tyg Foley, Paddy Levy, Kevin Mahoney, Cormac Power, players who have starred at both senior and intermediate level this year. Will that sort of experience stand to them on Sunday?
It should. I think it did the last day as well. Like it was was Paddy Levy in the Munster final against Páirce. I think to me he was the Gunners' best player. He was superb altogether, and he had a big say in the goal by Barry O'Sullivan. On top of that, then you have during the season, during the championship year, you would have seen Tom Gallagher, Tyg Foley, Kevin Mahoney and Cormac Power. Well, they also have Jake Foley, and he was the J. Kavanagh man of the match in the minor final against St. Carthages. And as well as that, then they have a solid goalkeeper in Mark Kilgannon, Sean Herney at full back. They have the players all over the field to win this game, and they will win as clear favourites.
Yeah, and I know Darragh O'Sullivan and Philip Mahoney are involved in this team, and they'll be looking to plug a couple of these now for next year's team, surely, Tony.
They will, and the players will know that as well, and I mean, if you were a Ballygunner player, there's one thing you'd want. You'd like to win matches at underage level, but you want to get onto that senior team. And a very hard thing to do. A lot of players who are very good over the years in Ballygunner, and they were trying to get on the senior team, they didn't make it, didn't make the cut. So it's a hard thing to do. It's nearly as hard to get on to a Ballygunner senior team as to get on to a Waterford county team. And like a lot of these players, this is a dress window for them to try and do that. But you have 3 or 4 already that are going to be there and be there next year.
Absolutely. And looking at Abbeyside, Tony, they've only had one game so far, the Western final against St. Carthages, but Michael Kiley is out with an injury sustained on inter-county duty with Liam Cahill's senior hurlers. How big a blow is that to the villagers?
Oh, that's a huge blow, completely. Now in the Western final, I think Michael only did what he had to do. They were well on top over St. Carthages, but when St. Carthages came near to them in the second half, Michael opened up. I think he got 3 points in a row. But as I was saying there on the newspaper, Abbeyside without Michael Kiley is a Hamlet without the Prince. And he would give a lot of Ballygunner's concentration to dealing with Michael Kiley. But now, he's not on the field, so it makes it a bit easier for him. But at the same time, Abbeyside are a capable side. They have a very good forward line. Like they weren't a one-man team the last day. Jamie Welch scored 3-1. A very good free taker in Niall Buckley as well. And further out there, Willie Morris here on centre forward, and back towards the backs. Then you have Johnny Treen's a good full back. But where they are strong enough to is in midfield. Their captain Ben Flynn had a great game the last day, and he scored 1-2. And alongside him is Dahi Brunnock. So they have the hurlers as well. But it all depends on what attitude they will go down to Carrickbeg. And if they're going down saying Ballygunner are a better team than us, without Michael Kiley, I think if they show their true talents, we'll make a good game of this one.
Do you think they can capture the new Tony Mansfield Cup, Tony, or will it be a Gunners Grand Slam, if you like?
I'd say it's going to go to Ballygunner, but you don't know, and there's no game won before you start, but Abbeyside would again have the ambition to win the new Tony Mansfield Cup. They won the other one, and there was great excitement over in the field last year when they won that one, and maybe that was the first time. Maybe it mightn't be as exciting this time, but at the same time, hurling in the county needs teams and clubs to take on Ballygunner and to beat them. Now, we haven't many of them had Ballysagran in the intermediate. We need underage clubs to step up and to give Ballygunner games. And I think this Abbeyside team, an awful lot of underage work done in Abbeyside over the last 6 or 7 years. And this team, they're a good team. Hopefully they'll go out there and show it on Sunday.
Well, it's all underway at 1:30 in Carrickbeg, Ballygunner versus Abbeyside in the first ever Waterford under-19A hurling final. And I suppose, Tony, looking at the competition overall, I suppose like the old under-21 championship has been squeezed into the back end of the year, 3 days before Christmas. Do you think, looking at it, that it has been a success so far?
Sure, you couldn't say it has really. It is crushed in there to the very end. And I remember the first under-21 championship was won, I think, 1966 by Abbeyside against Ferrybank. And the photograph was taken on a lovely summer's day over in the Fraher Field. But every photograph taken since then has been in the depths of winter. And it's just kind of thrown in there at the end, like the schools competitions as well. There's teams out there now training for the Hartley Cup and other competitions, they're thrown in at this end, so I couldn't say it has been a success, but a number of years back, the board decided to run off the Under-21 championships over 2 weekends in the summertime. So what they did, they played the first round on a Friday, the second round the following day on a Saturday, and then the following weekend they went into the semi-finals and the finals. And while it wasn't a perfect situation, it was still better than what it is now. And the Under-21 championship was finished early. Where the teams now are used to playing like Phil and the Gale and blitzes and everything like that. So maybe a return to something like that you could maybe in the inter-county season or whatever, and play it all at the one time like that, because like teams don't want to go up straight into the field at the moment, but at the same time they like to be in a final. When I was down Carrickbeg last Sunday now, the pitch was immaculate. The pitch was as good after the match as before the match, but the players were frozen, and like their striking was poor, and that's because of the cold conditions more than anything else. So I mean, nothing has changed in 50 years. Yeah, bear that 1 year back along, I thought it worked well. Yeah,
and we could see it reverting to under 20 at 20, because there is a couple of motions going before the board now in January to change from 19 to 20 in line with what it is at inter-county level.
Yeah, it probably makes sense to us to have, like, if you're picking a county panel and that, and like our team in the under 20 in the Hurling this year didn't do great. So it probably would make sense to have the underage in the county the same as outside.
And just a word on the under 19C final, Tony. It's going ahead on Saturday in Dunhill at 1:30. St Mullerins against Ballygunner Upper. I suppose both adult teams have suffered relegation this year. Mullerins have gone down to junior and Ballyduff to intermediate. Which club can end the year on a high?
Well, I suppose there's no history between the clubs as regards this championship. You say Mullerins have gone down to junior, Ballyduff have gone down, but it's good that they have players coming through to it at the same time, that they part in these grades. Now, last year, Ballyduff won the last under-21, was it the B, against Roanmore. So they're back in here now with a chance of winning another one. They weren't favourites against Kilrossenty in the Western final. They beat Kilrossenty by 3-14 to win 11, and that was a surprise. And St Mullerins, on the other hand, then they had a good win over Aaron's Own, 2-12 to 8 points. So like it's hard to call that one because we've never seen them play one another. But I know in particular there's one player on the Mullerins team, Conor Reid, and he will take some watching. He scored 1-8 out of 2-12. And then on the other side you have good players as well. Sean Hickey's a good goal scorer on the other side for Ballyduff. The two teams that you'd like to see them win a county title. The effort that they put into it, but only one team is going to come out on top.
Exactly, and just to touch on the B final as well, Tony, you were at it last week in Carrickbeg. Passage defeated St Oliver's 2-15 to 1-9. Was this the Mikey Cummins show?
It was definitely the Mikey Cummins show. It was. He scored 2-11. 10 of those were frees. Very good free taker. But he also showed that he can score from play. Apart from the point he got from play, he got two fantastic individual goals, especially the last one in the 60th minute. And we see this lad in the Hartley Cup. And very bad conditions out on the Gold Coast, and he played very well. It's great to see young players coming through like that, new names coming through, and hopefully he'll stick at the sport, come onto the Passage team, and that because he was definitely the difference between the two teams. The Hurling Passage had was far superior. The Hurling touch was far superior than that of St Oliver's, and they deserved a win on today.
Yeah, and just finally, Tony, just an event to keep in mind over the Christmas. The Dungarvan GA Club are holding St Stephen's Day walk and run in aid of the Kieran Power multiple sclerosis benefit. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, well, the younger generation would know Kieran Power that plays with us. The older generation would remember his father playing, Kieran Senior, and nobody yet has said to me that there has been a better footballer in the county over the years than Kieran Power Senior. Starting with the Mitchells, I saw him play myself, and he was just a dominant figure out in the field. He also went on to play in New York with the Tyrone side, and they were saying that the only player better than Kieran Power out in New York was Brian McGuigan of Tyrone. And that was a great accolade, because that man was magic. And then he came home and he played with Fuse, and he played with Tornina, and unfortunately he was struck with MS in the prime of his life, but it hasn't stopped him. He's still over in the Fraher field. He drives in there in the car and up the steps and watches the matches. And talking to him at half time in matches and that, he's a great reader of the game, but he's passionate about the game. And so we were saying, like, GA people always look after GA people in times of need, and we would be hoping that it wouldn't be just Dungarvan and Fairness Abbeyside always come over as well. It wouldn't be just those two clubs that come out on St Stephen's Day. But there's a 2 mile walk, for the least fittest, and there's a 5 mile run for the fittest. But we would hope that other people would come along, and if they can't, that they would contact us and make a contribution. And we're looking forward to seeing Kieran and all his family on the day.
Yeah, well, it's all underway at 11 o'clock, so do get behind that if you can. St Stephen's Day in Dungarvan GA in aid of the Kieran Power multiple sclerosis benefit. Tony, happy Christmas to yourself. Thanks very much for all your help on Lorna Páirce this year, and we'll talk to you in 2020.
You too, Tomas. Thanks.